Hey, this is Eric Sloov at the Solutions Exchange, and I'm at the Rubrik booth, and I'm joined by Chris Waal. Chris, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Great to be on.
Great to have you, man. So, Rubrik is a backup company, and you recently announced a new release. Can you tell me what's new in this release?
Oh, absolutely. So it's version 2.0, came out just recently, and we're adding things like replication between our clusters for free. You know, there's no per terabyte or per VM kind of charge. We've got all sorts of new features, new cloud targets. It's a really cool package to make data protection even more dead simple. So you've got to check it out.
So, your software is running policy driven, so you can actually select a VM and create a backup and define a retention policy. Can you explain a little bit more about the whole policy driven approach?
Sure. So normally you'd build a backup job, right? And within each job you kind of babysit all the nerd knobs, do this, do that, and that's not very fun. So a lot of the IT is moving to policy driven, right? We got Chef, Puppet, Salt, that kind of thing, where you define the end state of what something should be, and the system will figure out the details. Rubrik's the same way. We use a policy driven architecture. You tell it what your RPOs and availability need to be, and then you associate that policy to a vSphere object, and the system figures out the rest. And that way, you're not managing individual jobs, you're managing the intent or the policy for your protection.
Okay, and what about the whole life cycle of data? You have a live VM, then you have a backup. Can you also ship it to an off-site location, or can you explain something about the life cycle of a backup?
Absolutely. So you can keep any amount of data that you want on the appliance inside your data center, or you can start archiving that data to an object store, NFS as an example. As long as it speaks S3 or Swift for the API, it could be anywhere, so cloud, in your data center, et cetera. And you can also replicate that data to a different site. So if you want to do disaster recovery, you've got two sets of Rubrik. The clusters can replicate bidirectionally, you can fan it in, whatever makes sense for your particular architecture.
Okay, so I want to ask you a personal question. Well, we know your website well, Network, at least I do. I think it's a great website, and you have a new role at Rubrik. Are you enjoying it, working for Rubrik?
Absolutely. I mean, my goal is to do more of the architecture and the what's new kind of stuff with Rubrik on their blog, but Wall Network's still going to be a haven for technical knowledge, for my inner nerd to bust out. I'll probably go pretty deep into APIs and how to talk automation to something like Rubrik. So I love that balance, being able to talk about a really cool product in my day job and then still nerd out at night or weekends on my blog.
Right, and besides that, you're also an author. Can we expect a new release of the network guide from you?
I would love to do a second edition covering vSphere 6, NSX, and some other things for the Networking for VMware Administrators book. It's definitely in my mind. I can't commit to anything yet, but let's just say I want to do it.
Okay, great. Chris, many thanks for having us, and enjoy the last day of the VMworld 2015.
Thank you very much.